I'm Lauren, and I chose to read about collateral damage, assisted suicide's impact on suicides generally. I chose this one because I think it's interesting how there's kind of a stigma around suicide when it comes to a mental health patient, but there doesn't seem to be much of a stigma against assisted suicide for people who are terminally ill, and I understand that they are two different things, but at the same time, people can probably argue that they are fairly similar because the person is choosing to end their life. What stood out to me in this article was about a book called Final Exit that was published in New York City, and then following that, the suicide rate in New York City increased by people who are not terminally ill, just the general population. The article says that these people used the book as a suicide manual, so I feel like it's almost normalizing suicide, and that I feel like can be really triggering for someone who deals with mental health, because they may see a person who is terminally ill who gets to opt for assisted suicide, but they may feel that's unfair because they could argue that their mental health condition is also terminal, because as someone who's experienced mental health issues, it can feel like things will never get better. So someone who's in that state of mind may think that, like, if they can get assisted suicide, then I should just be able to commit suicide as well. So I think it's just kind of like a double standard in a way. It really just depends on the person who is getting the assisted suicide, and then really depends on the person who is on the outside looking in on a topic like this. I just think it's a very iffy subject, and really you could argue both sides, or for myself personally, I can see how if someone is not projected to live longer than a few months and they're in severe pain, I understand maybe then assisted suicide should be an option. But then seeing that general suicide rates have increased, that kind of makes me question if it's actually a good idea to allow medical professionals to suggest suicide. It's like they're choosing suicide as a treatment, but then with mental health patients, they say, do not do anything to harm yourself, this, that, and the next. But then with a terminally ill patient, suicide is the option. So I just feel like it kind of contradicts itself a little bit. I hope that made sense, but I just think it's a touchy subject, and I really don't think you will ever have a full population that completely agrees and is on the same page about it.